Congo Pram Member of Parliament, Samonati George. He's joined us on the line. So you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Omar. Good evening to you and good evening to your listeners.
Good evening to you too. Before we even talk about what options you are planning to consider, what is the status of all the legal issues in the courts? Because we do know that they say the wheels of justice grind slowly, but eventually justice will be delivered. Where have we gotten to?
Well, there was an injunction. There are two injunction cases against the bill. One by Dr. Mandaodo, who is a lecturer in Winneba, the constituency of the majority leader, Fenyo Markin. And then
is that necessary?
Then there is a second.
Is that necessary for the?
You will understand where I'm coming if you let me land.
Okay.
There is a second case by Richard Delatsky, who is your colleague at CTFM and also practices in the law firm of Honorable Fenyo Markin. So those two injunction cases are there. And then there is a substantive case. The injunction cases were argued and judgment was supposed to be delivered on the 17th of July by the Supreme Court. On the 17th of July, the Chief Justice came and said she would not, or the court would not give its ruling on the injunction case, which in effect, if a judgment had been given, will determine if Parliament could transmit the document, the bill, to the President in line with Article 106. She says she will not rule on it until she hears the substantive case. Effectively, she's placing an injunction on Parliament when she knows, as a Chief Justice, that she has no such power and that she's acting in excess of her constitutionally mandated power. The Chief Justice has absolutely no power given to her by any part of the Constitution of Ghana to injunct or seek to injunct a constitutional body like Parliament. And that's why she's hiding behind saying, I won't give judgment in the injunction until I hear the whole case, effectively injuncting Parliament. The Chief Justice of Ghana is becoming a cog in the wheel of justice, and that cog will be taken out.
Now, what do you want the Chief Justice to do which she's not doing? We
pay her salary. Umaru, your taxes give the Chief Justice a Land Cruiser and a Mercedes-Benz saloon car, gives her police protection, gives her a fully air-conditioned house with cooks, chefs, and gardeners. After giving her all of those perks, all we expect her to do is sit down in her office that is air-conditioned, paid for by the taxpayer salary, and simply sit on cases and adjudicate them. The Chief Justice has decided that she won't do the job we pay her for. She's going on a holiday. And so what is the desire and demands of the people? What the people of Ghana, through 275 members of parliament, have done? She's going on a vacation. And so we should continue paying her a salary during vacation. And when she chooses, at her own pleasing, she will come back and sit on the case. Well, the Chief Justice is not law unto herself.
Is the Chief Justice not entitled to annual leave? And if she's taking annual leave, why are you making that sound like an illegality or a crime or a sin?
Paid her tax. Our taxes pay her salary to have delivered judgment on the 17th of July. Can the Chief Justice tell us why she failed to deliver justice and give her ruling on the 17th of July on the injunction case?
But she explained that
we paid her salary for July. This month she's taking her salary. What we asked her to do, which was to give judgment on the 17th of July, she failed to. She has not earned her salary for this month. And she is attracting the ire of the Ghanaian people. And we'll express same on the 21st of August.
But why are you making it sound as if your case is the only case or the only work she has on her desk? There are several other issues that she deals with. So why are you making it sound as if she should stop everything else and do what you're doing, or the judiciary should stop everything else and focus only on your case? Why is your case?
Nobody has said that.
Okay.
The Chief Justice had our case before her, before Roxanne Daffy-Ameko's case went to her on the appointment of ministers. She found it expeditious to jump over our case and deal with the Roxanne case and dismiss it. We didn't complain. We said the wheels of justice grind slowly. Then the Chief Justice, nobody put a gun to her head, announced to the country that on the 17th of July, we will get judgment in the injunction case. She then comes on her own arbitrarily and capriciously, as Article 296 has warned, people who exercise constitutional power not to do, decides on her own that she is going to stay judgment until she hears the whole case, effectively injuncting Parliament. And she knows she has no such power. And that's why she can't give a judgment injuncting Parliament. Because in the Roxinda-Fiamekpo case, she stated explicitly in that judgment that the Supreme Court has no power to injunct a constitutional body from carrying out its constitutional mandate. Is the transmittal of bills to the president for his assent or otherwise a constitutional requirement? Yes, it is a requirement in Article 106, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the Constitution. Is Parliament a constitutional body? Yes, it is. So she knows it is common law 101 that she cannot injunct Parliament. But because she's decided to become a cog in the wheel of justice, she has decided to act arbitrarily and capriciously. And we must call the Chief Justice out.
When you say she has become
out, we call the president out when we think that the president is erring. We call parliamentarians and ministers and speakers of parliament out when we think that they are erring. The Chief Justice, just like any of those other elected officials or government officials, can be called out when she is acting as a cog in the wheel of justice, which is what she's doing now.
When you use words or phrases like a cog in the justice, in the delivery of justice, that sounds problematic, considering that she's a person who is supposed to be at the top of the dispensation of justice in this country. I'm not sure it would be fair for you to make the statement that you made.
The fact that she sits at the top of the judiciary doesn't mean that she's infallible, and that doesn't mean she's above rebuke or correction when she's acting wrong. The president sits atop everyone in the country. But we all criticize the president. We say that the president has slept on corruption and say that the president is the mother serpent of corruption. Everybody thinks it is okay for people to express dissent at the president's handling of corruption. Everybody thinks it's okay to say that MPs have no business asking for sirens on our vehicle, and ministers have no business asking for sirens on their vehicle. But ministers and parliamentarians sit atop the legislature. So it is not out of place for us to call out the Chief Justice and judges if they act wrong. And please, our judges have not clothed themselves in glory. We know that some of our judges have given judgment on the back of Aponchi, goats, and Kontomre. So our judges are not one who have, and I'm not saying all, but some of our judges have not clothed themselves in glory. And the judiciary itself has admitted that it needs to clean its image out and that there are problems with our judiciary. And so our Chief Justice is not above reproach. So when I say her actions make her appear as a cog in the wheel of justice, it is within a constitutional right of critiquing someone who has been given constitutional power, because the power she exercises is just constitutional power. Today we see Madame Sophia Akufo. She sat in that office that Madame Getritokoni is sitting in. We've seen Georgina Woods. We've seen Enim Yeboah. Once they leave that office, they are ordinary citizens like you and I. There's nothing extraordinary about them. And she won't sit there and die. It's not a seat that she will sit until she dies. She is put there by the people, paid by the people, and must be accountable to the people. And who should she be more accountable to than representatives of the people? If Parliament has unanimously passed a bill, and now she is single-handedly becoming the reason why the desire of the Ghanaian people is being held in abeyance, we will call her out.
What do you want to be done? So what typically happens in a case, you sent a case to the court, you are given a date, there's an adjournment, and it continues until a determination is made. You've been given a date when the next case would be heard, and then the process continues. This, your demonstration, is intended to do what exactly? That your issue should be dispensed with immediately, and that's it?
Even during vacation, the court sits and hear matters of grave importance and national importance that require urgency. The court can sit during the vacation. And so that's what we are demanding. That this matter is a critical matter. It's a matter that has come before this court. The matter has been pending since March. And like I said, other cases that came after this of equal importance, she dispensed off expeditiously. So why is the Chief Justice behaving at snail pace or acting at snail pace in this. It is contrary to the Chief Justice's own religious belief that she espouses on the altar at ICGC in Tema. It is also contrary to her traditional authority she comes under in the central region. They do not ascribe to what she's supporting. And so the Chief Justice must act expeditiously in pursuit of what she professes. We only ask, and anybody who aspires to the high office of a judge, not to talk of the Chief Justice, must be one of impeccable character whose integrity we can vouch for. And the man or woman's integrity is tantamount to you walking your talk, acting what you profess, what you preach on the pulpit, acting it out. That's all we are calling the Chief Justice to do.
What is your fear?
Oh, we have no fears because the Chief Justice must bear in mind that she cannot stand in the way of this wind. This wind would blow away anyone who stands in its way. She should go and check the records in the past 3 years. Everybody who has stood in our way has faced the wrath of the people and the wrath of God. And so it's up to her. I have no fears because and it is out of the abundance.
What I actually meant by your fear is that
it is out of the abundance of caution that we call upon her to be careful, because she claims, and she's done this publicly, that she sits where she sits because it's the will of God. That same God she calls upon is wrath, is one she would not want. The Bible says she's a Christian, and so let me quote the Bible to her. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of God.
My question around your fear is it your fear that if they go on the legal vacation, your case may not be dealt with until perhaps the new year, after which there will be a new government? Is that your fear?
Oh, I have no fear because, Maru, whether the new government, hopefully by John Dramani Mahama, led by John Mahama, has made it clear that President Mahama has said this publicly, that he will sign that bill once it comes to his table. I have heard that the other running mate from the other political party has also followed suit and said same. So I have no problem because whoever comes back, the only person who has run away from making a commitment on signing this bill is President Akufo-Addo. And there are very clear reasons why he's running away from it, because of his relationship and affiliation with people who are engaged in homosexuality. That's a known fact. But the Chief Justice has no business in protecting the president from carrying out his constitutional mandate. That's not why she's Chief Justice.
Let's leave it here. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
I'm grateful, Umar.
That's Samonate George. He's NDC Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Pram. This